I interviewed the head of one of the governing consortium councils for the Jewish settlers in the West Bank, who have what as their kin the people like Ben Gvir and Smotrich. And I asked him about this proposal or this resolution that he got CPAC to pass about Israeli sovereignty in the West Bank, plus issues around Gaza and whether there could eventually be Jewish settlements that return to Gaza. Because if you recall, or if you never knew, I'll tell you, prior to 2005, there were Jewish settlements in Gaza that were then evacuated. So some of these messianic elements in Israel want those to be reinstated, and the Trump plan, the ostensible plan to take over Gaza and put it under U.S. make it into a U.S. protectorate, could allow for the reintroduction of Jewish settlements in Gaza. So it's a pretty interesting interview. This is at CPAC. This is myself with Israel Gans, who is the governor of, again, a consortium of Jewish settlement organizations for the West Bank. Explain what your title is.
Okay. My name is Israel Gans. I am the governor of the Binyamin Regional Council and the chairman of Judea and Samaria. It's an umbrella organization about all the people in Judea and Samaria.
And you were involved in getting a resolution passed at CPAC this year calling for the U.S. to recognize Israeli sovereignty over the whole of Judea and Samaria. What do you see the significance of that being, and what do you anticipate Trump will do in that area?
So we are never allowed to avoid the truth. The truth is that Judea and Samaria belong to the people of Israel. Jews came from Judea, and the Western countries forced us to leave this area, and we got terror, and we got Iran arms in the center of our state. The resolution here made an history. They declared that Judea and Samaria belong into the people of Israel. Judea and Samaria belong into the Jews. I think that this will cut the hope of Iran to have this area, and I hope President Trump adapt this way and will push for a sovereignty in Judea and Samaria.
One of Trump's big supporters and donors is Miriam Adelson, who I'm sure you're familiar with, and one of her objectives has been just this, which is to push for full Israeli sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. What do you know about her influence on Trump and whether she might be helping to lobby for that outcome?
I know that Miriam Adelson, I know her. She is an amazing, amazing woman, and I know President Trump, that he's so smart and so strong and brave to make history. And together, when they meet each other, they can make history. It doesn't matter where in the world, but they think different, they think out of the books, and I promise you, they together will change the world.
So when you say that Judea and Samaria, or as some call it, the West Bank, is for the Jews, what does that mean for the Arabs who live there? Will they just be permanently subordinate to the Jewish authorities, or will they be forced out? What's your ideal outcome for the Arabs who live there?
So when you have sovereignty, even here in the United States, it doesn't say that someone has to leave, but you can live there according to one main rule: no terror, no education for terror. You have to leave the terror. When you do that, you can stay there, and you have your own rights. But there is only, even today, they have their own rights, their own autonomy to run their communities. But if we will not be in care, and this area will have terror, like we have, and we saw at the last day, even yesterday, we saw the bombs that came from Tulkarem. Sovereignty, which means the whole area will be under Israel responsibility, and everyone will have the rights to live there in peace without terror.
But will the Palestinians or the Arabs who live there have any form of self-government?
So, they have. It's not a government. It's called authority.
Palestinian
authority.
But you want to get rid of that, right?
But you know that they didn't have an election for more than 20 years. And you know what's the reason? The reason is because everyone knew that if they will have an election, Hamas will take over the government. So today, Palestinian Authority not represent the people. When I met the leaders of the communities, they told me, we have to rid of Palestinian authorities. They don't represent us, even today. So now, exactly like President Trump suggests for Gaza Strip, if someone wants to leave, he can. If someone wants to stay, he can. He can leave if he will declare that he will not support and deal with terror. This is the only reason. About the only questions that we have to deal with about the rights to vote. But even today, even here in the United States, you have Puerto Rico, you have about 4 million people that they have all rights, but they don't have the rights to vote. They vote for their own authority. It will be the same.
So I've been to Judea and Samaria, or West Bank, and I've talked to Jewish settlers who believe that they're embarked on a messianic project, meaning that they believe that there's a religious sort of prophecy behind why they're in this area, and that if they take control of this land, the Messiah will return. Is that your belief?
I'm not dealing right now with ideological. I'm practical, what we see. I will say different. Look, God will stand with everyone that help him. God brought us to the heartland after long exile, and we have to continue the process. What will be happen? God will stay with us. That's what I can tell you for sure.
Okay, and finally, Trump announced his plan to take over Gaza, and there were some people who are also who are messianic believers or settlers, who like Ben Gvir and Smotrich and so forth. I'm curious what your views are on them, but they supported Trump's proposal, whereas this is not something that Netanyahu is necessarily advocating, so it was kind of threw everything a little bit off kilter. What do you make of that proposal for the U.S. to take over Gaza? And would you want Jewish settlements to also return to Gaza as they had been before 2005 when under Sharon they were evacuated?
So, as I started, the state of Israel belonged to the Jews. But we have a problem for decades, and no one could bring a solution to the table. President Trump came with, I think, very brave idea, because the people there, they live, they have the average salary, it's $2,000 per year. You can provide them much better life in different places, and it solves the problem forever.
What if they don't want to leave?
If they will, no one talk about force them to leave, but it's crazy idea that they live there. You yourself can leave this place and you can live in wherever you want. Why people encourage them to stay there and no one lets them to leave? Why are they hostages? Because all the countries in the world that talking about their rights, in fact, they want this bomb to be exploded. There is no, if people from Italy want to move to United States, he has a process to do, but he can do that. I'm from Israel, can move to Italy or France, I can do that. Why they are not allowed to leave the place? Why
they don't have self-government in the same way.
So why do you want them to stay there?
I don't necessarily.
And again, why do Jordan and Lebanon didn't give a...
Can they go to Israel?
Wait. Why do Lebanon and Jordan didn't give a citizenship to the towns that they have for refugees camp from 48? Because they want them all to come back to Israel and to destroy the one Jewish state. This is their goal.
But they couldn't go to Tel Aviv, right?
Why? I ask you again. Why don't you ask Jordan that they have refugees camp since 48 and they still don't give them citizenship? Why? Why Lebanon and Syria do the same? Why Egypt do the same? Because they keep all these Arabs, what they call Palestinian, as hostages. President Trump came and said it's over. We have a solution, and he will give them a peaceful and security. And I think you will see that he's the only brave that brought a realistic decision to the table.
And do you want Jewish settlements there eventually?
It will be a part for everyone that come. it will be. You can come from the United States. You can come from Israel, and I'm sure you will see a much more beautiful Gaza.
Okay, so there's that gentleman who, again, is presiding over the governance of the currently existing Jewish settlements in one of the occupied territories, expressing optimism about how, under this potential Trump plan to take over Gaza, Gaza is going to be made very much more beautiful because, as I asked him to comment on, there could be the addition of some of these long sought after additional Jewish settlements in Gaza. So I guess that's just an insight into who is the most enthused about this Gaza takeover proposal, which again is very inchoate. We don't have any exact operational details about what that would look like. But even in terms of just the principle now, so far as it's been floated over the past couple of weeks, people like that gentleman are probably the most excited about how it could be used to advance their kind of longstanding religious and political objectives for expanding Israeli territory and making it all a home to the Jews, as he would put it. So there you have it. That's some exclusive content here on the System Update.
Thanks for watching this clip from System Update, our live show that airs every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern exclusively on Rumble. You can catch the full nightly shows live or view the backlog of episodes for free on our Rumble page. You can also find full episodes the morning after they air across all major podcasting platforms, including Spotify and Apple. All the information you need is linked below. We hope to see you there.